I've been in professional baseball 41 years. 30 years I was an amateur scout, which meant I went to colleges and high schools. I had a geographical area that I covered, usually in the South, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, Panhandle. 3 years I scouted the state of Florida for 3 years, 87 to 90. And I meant to tell John, I also scouted Alex Rodriguez when he was in high school in Miami. One of the best young players I ever saw. He was a man playing with kids, even at that age. Now, what I hope, well, I know what's going to happen this weekend. I don't hope it happens, but I know it's going to happen. Let me say this real quick. All of you are here because you were invited to be here. That's the difference in this showcase and any of the other ones you've been to. You were invited to come here. And that makes it a big different situation as far as what we're hoping you're going to be able to do when we play the games and we have the pro tryout tomorrow. Now, the pro trial won't be any different than what we've done in the past. We're going to be looking through 3, 4, 5 tools: run, throw, hit, power. All the obvious things that attract. And that's what you're doing here. You're trying to attract. I've told you that before. You're going to hear some things I said before, but that's fine. Pro Day baseball, I don't know what your experiences have been with any other showcase or any other clinic or any other school or any other that you've ever been to. You're going to find that Pro Day is different in a handful of ways. We use your first name as much as we can. You're not a number. You have a number, but to us you're not a number. We use your first name as much as we can. The other thing, and I'm telling you some things to tell you something later. We also interact with you on a one-on-one basis, which other showcases don't do. They don't do it, fellas. We like that because it gives us a chance to get to know a little bit about you. And maybe we can offer you a little tip. Hey, come here, why don't you stay down while you're catching and the umpire can see. You know, just a little tips about playing the game. Left-handed hitter, I'm the third baseman, play in and over a little bit maybe. You know, just a little tips of how to play the game. We're going to interact with you in that way. Now, those are some of the reasons I'm with Pro Day. I've been with John and Jeff, and between us we probably have 75, 80 years of scouting experience between us. I was with the Texas Rangers for 11 years, 84 to 95. I left the San Diego Padres in 1984 after being there 4 years, and I got a National League Championship ring when we beat the Cubs. Now, if there's any Cub fans in here, I'm sorry. But y'all had us down 2, and we beat you 3 in San Diego, went to the World Series, and Detroit beat us in 5. So it's been those are some of the reasons I'm with Pro Day, because they do things different than other showcases. Now, I hooked up with John and Jeff maybe 6, 7 years ago. And it's been a lot of fun. And the other thing you're going to find out about Pro Day, we're organized and things move. Everything's moved. There won't be much downtime with Pro Day. And that's some of the reasons I'm with Pro Day. Because I like the way John and Jeff, they do things. Now, you're here to attract. Now, arm strength will attract, running speed attracts, power attracts. All those are given as far as attracting somebody to you that can have a say that you're playing at the next level. Those are obvious. But I'm going to share again with some of the ones that aren't quite as obvious. And you've heard this before, most of you, but I'm going to share it again because I think it's important. Some of the things that are not as obvious as far as attracting Go to these things and look like a player. Look at you all. You got your cap on nice, your dress, your shirt tails in. Every one of you look like a player. Now, you may not be a player. We'll find that out as far as your skills and your tools. But go to these things and look like a player. And one of John's pet peeves is that when you go on the field, you go beyond the gate there and go on that field, you got your hat on backwards, you don't have your shirt on. Now, if you want to impress John, you better be dressed from here to here and look like a ball player. That will attract. Okay, don't forget that. How you play the game will attract. It will attract, fellas. Early on in my scouting career, I was taught a lesson. I go into Walnut Grove, Mississippi, about 30 miles from where I live, and I go in there to see Arthur Garner. And we're talking about early 70s. I was at the Montreal Expos. I go in there, and I'm going somewhere with this, so hang with me. I go in there as a young scout, and I do this with Arthur, who's a dear friend of mine now. I signed him for San Diego when he came back from Japan, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm in there looking at Arthur like this. Well, lo and behold, the next year, I get a call from a good friend of mine with the Atlanta Braves. He said, "Hey, Bill, how about that kid at Walnut Grove?" I said, "Walnut Grove, what are you talking about? That was last year." He said, "No, there's another guy there. His name is Charlie Brown." I said, "What happened?" Well, a good friend of mine with the Yankees had him hit out. Well, I ended up seeing Charlie Brown. He was 30 miles from my home. That was important because if I hadn't seen him, he went in the 3rd round. I didn't see him the year before. So my good friend with the Yankees who mentored me, he said, "Hey, boy," and he called me boy. He said, "Boy, let me tell you something." And I'm going somewhere, so hang with me. He said, "When you go in the ballpark like this." What the heck for? He said, "Well, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. All right, you go in the ballpark like this. Okay, there's Micah playing shortstop. Whoa, wow, what an arm. You look down, wow, he's just a junior in high school. What just happened? What just happened? He attracted me, didn't he? So I put his name down to Fowler for next year. Now, if I'd done that when I went to Walnut Grove, I would have seen Charlie Brown playing right field. But I missed Charlie Brown because I was in there like this. So Atlee taught me that lesson. So what's going to happen if I'm playing the game hard and doing infield, and he's in there looking this, wow, the right fielder doing infield shows a good average arm. Now what's happened? He's attracted. During the course of the game, we time a lot of things. We time you home to first. We time the pitcher to the plate. We time the catcher to second. We time the guy stealing from first to second. So we do a lot of timing. So if I'm playing the game hard and I hit a 2-hopper to the shortstop and his watch says from the right side is 4.3 is average, from the left side 4.2 is average. He looks at his watch and you just ran 4.1 from the right side. Wow, now what have you done? You've attracted. So if you play the game hard, now I hit a 2-hopper to shortstop, he looks at his watch and it's 4.65, he writes you off, brother. You're written off. But if I hold down, and play the game hard, you're going to attract. That's where I was going with all that rigmarole. But if the guy's doing his job, it goes in this way. And now y'all know, if a college guy's there, you pretty well know it. If a scout's there, you pretty well know it. Y'all know who the best players in your area are. There's going to be scouts there to see the best ones. May not be there to see you, but do something while he's there to see that pitcher that's on your club or on the other club. Do something to attract him. And playing the game hard will do that. Okay? That's just 2 things right off that attract other than the running and the throwing, which I said, which are obvious things. Something else we do too, you probably never even thought about. We watch how you interact with your parents. Why in the heck would we do that? Why would we watch you interact with your teammates? Why would we watch you interact with your girlfriend? Why would we watch you interact with your coach? Why would we do that?
Do you act around others?
Gives us an idea about your makeup. Gives us an idea what you're made of. Gives us an idea what you're about. How you interact with your parents. All that's important. You never thought of that, did you? Look, John will tell you, sometimes we get to the ballpark and watch you get off the bus. Here's a 6'3", 210-pound guy get off the bus. He's attractive. Physically, you will attract. Now, that's not to say that the small guy can't play this game, because he can. Small guy, there's guys making millions of dollars. How many of you been to big league games? See any weak guys there? There's not any. Even the small guys are strong. If you can fly and you got strength, the little guy can play this game and make a lot of money. Okay, don't let anybody tell you you can't. I guess I'm getting close to being done. Now don't be, it's going to be hot. Please, if you start having a problem, let one of us know. I'll share some other things with you maybe later on or whatever, but those are some things that we feel like, pro day baseball, we feel like are important, that you need to pay attention to when you go to these things. And hopefully you're going to attract somebody. But the whole weekend is to evaluate, see what your tools and skills are in the areas that I mentioned, and also to have some fun. And also hope you leave here with something that's going to help improve your chances of playing at the next level or the next level. And don't be afraid to ask questions. We may not have the answer, but we can find somebody that does. I guess I'm about done. 3 things. What's the only thing in the game of baseball that's never changed? The only thing in the game of baseball over 100 years that's never changed. Number 2, I know y'all heard a tall can of corn, right? Have y'all heard that? Big pop up, fly to the outfield, the announcer say, there's another tall can of corn. Well, I want you to figure it out and tell me before the weekend's up. Baltimore chop. What in the world is a Baltimore chop? Well, obviously it was corn in Baltimore, right? But what does it mean? Those are 3 things I want to know before the weekend's over. Only thing in baseball that hadn't changed. There's one thing, never changed. What is a tall can of corn when they refer to a pop fly to the outfield? And what the heck is a Baltimore chop? Now there might be a prize for every who said might. I'll have to talk to Jeff. Might be a prize for every who can answer those 3 questions. And then I may have 3 questions, answer 3 questions for y'all later. Not today. Look, welcome to your parents. And hang with us. And we're going to have some fun, and we're going to find out what the heck you can do and can't.